Welcome, everyone. It's that time of the month for the new episode of our show, Talking XP, where we discuss some of our favorite things, which just so happens to include games, movies, and most importantly, D&D. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm the host, and today we have Ryan with us. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. We have a lot of things to talk about today, and I'm pretty excited to hear all about all of it.
Yeah, me too. Zach, how you doing?
Halloween was a couple weeks ago. Still spooky. Doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Daniel, how you doing?
Doing great. It's new console week, so I have been having a good time.
Yeah.
Oh man, you must have been having a little party.
Oh yeah, we'll get into that for sure. We'll be getting into that. But first, we are all excited to be here, of course, and creating this content for you guys. We will be releasing every third Tuesday of each month a new episode for all of you. And we also are doing a special episode where we will be focusing on Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, the new D&D sourcebook that adds a whole bunch of new content to D&D 5e. We will be releasing that episode on Friday, November 20th, so everybody look forward to that. Another an announcement that we have is that we have a Patreon. If you like the content that we create, you can become one of our patrons. For just $1 a month, you can get first access to our content and some behind the scenes stuff, and you'll gain access to our own Discord server where you can hang out and be involved with our growing community. You'll get a special label or role as a patron, which would give you certain perks and things like that. So that's that. And we actually want to do a shout out for our first patron that we have, Steven. Thank you so much. We really
Steven.
Appreciate that.
Thanks, Steven.
And we look forward to creating the content that you love. And so with that all aside, let's move into our games, movies, and news discussion. Like we said earlier, next-gen consoles was released this week. Xbox was Tuesday, PS5 was yesterday, Thursday. And yeah, I mean, Daniel, you got the PS5. What do you think?
I did. I should preface this by saying I am definitely a PlayStation, Sony, gamer. I got a PlayStation 3 probably halfway through its life cycle. I've had a PlayStation 4 for a long time. I got a PlayStation 4 Pro like only a year and a half ago. So, that definitely appeals to me. I think it's great. It's definitely been 100% worth it for me. I got the all digital PS5 because the last physical game I purchased was Red Dead Redemption 2, and that was the only game I purchased probably in like the latter half of 2018. So for me, it really doesn't change my lifestyle at all, and it saves me $100. So
$100, yeah. Because that was 300 or was it 400 for the digital only? 400, and then 500 was the one with the disc.
Yeah, with the disc. So
right.
So for me, it didn't really bother me. But there was immediately a difference. As soon as I plugged it into my TV for the first time, and this could be partially my own fault for not really diving into the settings of my PlayStation 4 Pro, but the color on my TV was immediately different. It just looked better. You could immediately
tell.
Yeah,
4K
I have a 4K. I have a pretty nice TV. It is 120 hertz display, so I can also do 120 frames per second, hypothetically, for whatever game ends up incorporating that in a way that I will actually take advantage of.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been awesome. I've played Miles Morales, I've played Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I've played Bugsnax.
Okay, but the real question is, how's the controller?
So, okay.
Is that the real question?
That is the real question. It looks so cool.
I was really excited for the controller because, in my opinion, I play a lot of, single player, first person games. I just like to be immersed. I like to take that next step, That's why I like live theater so much. I just like feeling like I'm, there. And I thought the controller would be a really great way to add that without needing to do like VR, which is tough if you wear glasses, and also, it's kind of heavy and you can't do it for that long. It was a little a little more underwhelming than I expected. Now, the demo that they have, the Astrobot Playroom, that's great. It was awesome there. There are some like pretty subtle things going on in Miles Morales that are pretty cool. And in Bugsnax, there's like the mechanic where you take a photo, and every time like I pull on the trigger, it not only feels like a shutter clicking, but it actually kind of sounds like it too, just because of the way that the plastic's there. So that actually is kind of cool.
That's pretty sweet. Okay.
That's pretty, all right. I had no idea about that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would imagine that there's more to come, because we have, the launch games that work both for PS4 and PS5, like Miles Morales.
Right.
So I'm imagining that it's only going to go even further into that. So, and it's the same thing with like the touchpad for the PS4, is that like PlayStation didn't know what they were gonna do with it. They were just like, this would be cool, and then developers started to add on to that. So like with Miles Morales, speaking specifically to that, you have that Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man app that you swipe left and then it opens it up, and it looks really sweet. Like, it's really cool to do that.
I think it's a very great addition to that game too, the way that they've added the new side missions into the game. It's definitely nicer than the prior
Easier
game.
to keep track of.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, developers are gonna like figure out this technology as we do. Like, they're learning what it can do too, and what they can put into their game. So
But I will say,
we'll have to see what they come up with.
I think that the thing that surprised me the most is I thought that just the increase in the visuals, like the ray tracing and the improved reflections and stuff was really what was going to sell it for me. But actually, I've really enjoyed just playing at 4K and 60 frames per second. That has made a world of difference.
Oh,
everything just feels better.
Smoother.
So for me, that has sold it right there. It just everything is feeling great.
It's baseline 60 frames per second 4K.
Pretty much.
And
yeah,
then-
that's the standard. So like Assassin's Creed runs amazingly. I actually bought Assassin's Creed on the PlayStation 4 on Tuesday. Played that for probably like 6 or 7 hours. So that way I had something to compare it to on the PlayStation 5. And it's like night and day. There are a couple of bugs, I will say. Things are not 100% worked out. For some reason, both in Spider-Man and in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, whenever I go into a cutscene where there's dialogue, no dialogue. Don't know why, tried to fix it, and unfortunately, because not that many people have PlayStation 5s, nobody can help me answer those questions about why that's happening. So, we'll figure it
You're
out.
on the front lines, Daniel.
And is that... Did you notice that in PS4, or is it only PS5?
That's only in
Interesting.
PS5 for some reason.
Interesting.
And weirdly enough, what fixed it in Miles Morales was switching the audio to mono, which I didn't really want to do, but whatever. I don't know why that worked, but it did. And then in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, unfortunately, I cannot solve it, which is why I actually haven't played any more of that game, because I want to hear the dialogue.
Right. Well, that's a pretty serious issue.
Yeah, that's a huge issue.
Yeah, and I figure they'll figure it out, but I know that it's
sure.
not the PlayStation or my connection, because literally everything else works. It only cuts out, like, characters will talk to each other if I'm outside of a cutscene, but as soon as it zooms in, nope, nothing there.
Interesting. That's crazy. Yeah, I know. I've noticed a lot of bugs in Miles Morales on PS4. Of course, now I'm blanking on all of them. I'm sure it'll come up in a bit, but yeah, no, I specifically for that game, I think it's so much fun. I mean, of course, you have the Spider-Man game before this one.
Ancient.
So
cryptic.
2018.
What? Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
So long ago.
It was so much fun though, just web slinging and doing stuff like that. The only thing that I have about this game is that it feels more like a DLC than it feels like its own game.
Well, it is. That is what it kind of is.
Is it really?
Well, it's kind of an interim game. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not...
I mean, did you ever play Uncharted Lost Legacy?
No.
Because basically what that was, it was like a 20-hour version using a character from the Uncharted series where they just like, that character went off and did her own thing for 20 minutes. It wasn't a full-on Uncharted game, but it had all the same mechanics and introduced a couple of new things. And it was just like supposed to, that's all it was supposed to be.
It's supposed to be like a 1.5 game.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like a full sequel.
So then is that why it's 50 then? They were
That's
using the
part of it,
That
but
makes a
that's-
lot more sense.
Let me
Okay.
also be perfectly honest. It is also a tech demo. It really feels like it
I'm
on the
sure.
PlayStation 5. So I don't want to say that it's obviously it's the same game on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. But the reason it feels like it exists is to be on the PlayStation 5.
You know, it'd be really cool is if they had a VR setup for Miles Morales. Oh, that'd be so cool. Super disorienting, I'm sure.
That sounds nauseating.
But it sounds like it'd be so cool. I don't know. And one thing actually that Steven brought up was the fact that our patron, to be very clear.
Hi, Steven.
Hi, Steven. The PSVR is actually compatible for both the PS4 and the PS5. And so I'm just wondering, you know, now that it's moving up, I'm sure they're going to make a newer model that runs better than the old one. But what he was asking was, you know, now that it's compatible and you have it for the PS5, do we think that Sony is going to be making more games in that realm or keeping it in this like niche kind of genre? And then to top that off, he also asked whether Xbox is going to be competing against it, because all of last gen, Xbox didn't have any VR capabilities at all, you know? So I think it'd be dumb if they didn't, I think.
So, okay, here's the first thing, is saying PSVR is compatible with the PS5 is a little misleading.
Okay.
The camera, for example, which you need, because the PlayStation 5 camera actually does not work with the PSVR headset, does not actually plug into the PlayStation 5. You have to have a special adapter, which you can request from Sony for free. I haven't done it yet. I actually have a PSVR headset. I haven't done it yet. All I need to do is send them the serial number of my headset, and they'll send me the adapter for free. But so out of the box, it does not work.
That's cool that they'll allow you to like get an adapter though. They don't make you pay for it. I appreciate that.
True.
And for free, yeah.
The other thing they said was, as it currently stands, PlayStation 5 games won't run on PSVR.
So it's PS4 games that
you can run
it.
PS4 games on your PS5, and if those PS4 games are VR, you can use them in VR.
Okay.
But they also said that they're not really going to be focusing on updating those PSVR games that are currently exist to take advantage of the PSVR software, or take advantage of the PS5's new, better software. And the other thing is that Sony even said themselves that that's not really something they're focusing on. It's not something they see in this year or even next year, potentially. So it could be a couple of years away, but I do not anticipate any new VR stuff for a while. Probably until they announce a new headset. So honestly, I don't really think they will be doing much with PSVR in the near term.
I don't see VR becoming any, like, I think it's going to stay its own, like, niche category that it's been for so long, and Microsoft's never really shown any interest making their own headset.
I'm pretty sure it's definitely gonna just stick mainly to the PC area for the most part.
Well, with PC, I mean, you have so many different VRs that you can get, and I think that's the point, is why it's so much more successful with PC, is that you can get the top of the line, like whatever kind of VR headset you want to get, or you can get the basic one where you're able to get that, you know, key into the gate of VR, you know? And I think that that's something that distinguishes the PSVR versus the PC. And I think that, yeah, it's gonna, I think it may just mainly be PCs that stick with VR. I think that they will update the VR, but like Daniel said, I think it's gonna be a year or two. It'll be a year or two until they even show interest.
How long into the PS4 lifetime did PSVR come out?
I mean, PSVR only came out, I think, like 2 years ago.
Yeah, so it was like 4 or 5 years into PS4, so they could like sit on it until the middle of the PS5's lifespan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you think about it,
maybe announce it with the Pro.
When you think about it too,
if they do a Pro,
the PSVR is also kind of outdated already. Like there are a bunch of different headsets they sell now that are wireless. PSVR is definitely wired, and it's very heavy. So just kind of material wise, and plus, I mean, with the power that the PlayStation 4 had, it wasn't really comparable to most PCs. So yeah, you know.
So then, last part of that question: do you think Xbox is gonna make any competitive VR?
Why do they care?
No, I don't. I don't think they're interested. To be honest.
Yeah.
They're already active on PCs anyway, and PCs, as we already said, have really good VR already.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well. Thanks, Steven, for that question. That was actually a really good one. So we've talked a lot about PS5. Let's talk about the Xbox Series X. Has anybody... Okay, one thing that I want to talk about.
Cue the cricket noises.
The Xbox Series X regular controller that comes in the box has AA batteries.
That seems a little behind the times, doesn't it?
What year is it? Yeah, like, why...
Yeah, I don't know why they would make the choice to go backwards when they've already had.
Did Xbox One have rechargeable batteries built in the controller? I didn't buy one.
You know
so
what? I didn't buy one either.
Well, actually,
I don't.
Maybe?
I don't know that they've ever had. Like, PlayStation has had rechargeable batteries since DualShock 3, like ever since they went wireless. But I remember having to replace the batteries for Xbox 360. Or do you remember those, like, you would buy a rechargeable battery that you could replace the battery pack in your 360 controllers, and you'd, like, plug it in? So you had to buy something separate.
Right. Yeah.
They don't care what they did. They shipped a lousy Xbox controller with the Xbox Series X because what they want people to buy is the Xbox Elite controller, which I also have one. It's awesome, but it costs a lot of money. This is rechargeable. You plug this in, it gets a charge, so they can do it. They just choose not to.
Is that the Xbox One, right?
This is the Xbox Elite version 2.
The Xbox Series
It's a damn
X,
good controller.
their Elite controller or their Pro controller, $180.
Oh, it's 180 now.
180.
It's not. I did not spend that much.
No, I think the Xbox Ones were 120, right?
Okay. I think I paid $130.
That sounds right.
Fine.
That sounds
No,
right.
I'm not knocking anybody for buying it because it's a good purchase. I mean, I watched a video about the Xbox Series X Pro controller, whatever, Elite or whatever it's called.
A pretty insane amount of money for just a controller, though.
I agree.
It's a lot. I mean, shit. How much is the Xbox Series X? It's 400 and then No, it's 400 for the.
No, it's 4 and 5.
It's the same as PS5.
It's the same as PS. Yeah.
$400 for the digital version. 180 is almost half of that.
For rechargeable batteries.
It's almost half for rechargeable batteries. Now, the controller itself, from what I've seen, is nice. It's not plastic. It has like real metal. You can take out the joysticks and switch them out with certain other ones, like a longer one for aiming, and then the convex and the concave, all those different ones.
It's got a ton of customization, like parts and stuff.
You can switch out the D-pad for like the regular gamer one or the roller kind of look.
The weird satellite dish looking thing.
And then they have the I don't know what to call them, the not adaptive trigger, but the ones on the back end where you can map them to
paddles.
Yeah, paddles. You can map them to specific buttons. Instead of taking your right finger off of the joystick, you can then press A, B, X, Y on the back of it where you already have your hands. And those are metal. Those buttons are metal on the back. So it feels, from what I've seen, it looks like it feels really good. And I think they have like some like pleather type of controller handle on the side. So
that's what I got right here. Yeah, you're describing exactly what I have.
And the controller looks beautiful. It looks really nice.
And it's chunky. Those things are hefty.
But it is $180. And that's the only rechargeable option that they have currently.
Is there not like a third-party like rechargeable battery pack you can slap in that thing?
I'm sure
there
is.
must be, right? But like that shouldn't be an option either.
I imagine there's already like 4 different or more different third-party sellers that have those kinds of things on Amazon currently. I'm sure they have it. They had to maximize on that. But oh my god.
You shouldn't need one.
$180 for a rechargeable controller.
I only paid $130 though.
Well, yeah, but no, he's talking about
right.
Like the Xbox One ones were.
We want to make that very clear. Very clear.
Wait, did they come out with a new one?
Yes, for the Xbox Series X, the newer next gen console has the Pro controller, Elite controller, whatever you want to call it.
Sexbox.
$180. Yes, Sexbox.
Wow.
It looks beautiful, but it's $180. But yeah, I mean,
and how much, pray tell, does a DualSense run for on its own? Do we know?
I don't want to throw out an up. I heard 80, but I might be wrong.
I want to say 80 as well.
Daniel is our live fact
I'm
checker
looking right now. $70.
70.
Okay. So $10 more than PlayStation 4 controller. Really general controllers.
Seems worth it.
Yeah, bottom line controllers tend to be 60, but now, and it seems like they're even raising game prices up to 70 as well.
Yeah,
I saw a few.
Those
few
are going
games.
up.
Yeah, which, I mean, they've been talking about this for so long. It's about time, honestly, with inflation and all that stuff. But it still hurts. It still hurts to see 70
Games
rather
could be
than 60.
cheaper. It's fine.
Yeah, but anyways, okay. So
Is what it is.
with all of that aside, I got us. Oh, actually, sorry. One other thing.
What else do you want to complain about?
One other thing
About the Xbox. I just want to talk the most shit about Xbox.
Oh yeah, man. We're all Sony boys in here.
So the Xbox Series X has this external storage.
The X-Sex, please.
The X-Sex has the external storage card, right? And it's 1 terabyte, which it's really cool. The technology that they have, it's about 2 inches wide and then about 1.5 inches tall, whatever. So it's really small, portable, really cool, and you slap it in like a memory stick, back when we had those.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 1 terabyte, $220. This thing only works for the Xbox X. Only works for that. So you have an entire terabyte memory card that only works for Xbox, and that's it.
And to be fair, games are insanely big right now, so you'll use it.
And it's only gonna get bigger. It's only gonna get bigger though, and that means that 1 terabyte is $220. That is over half as much.
Yeah, but that's an SSD though. So let's be perfectly clear. So that is pretty high-end technology.
Yes.
I don't think that's that far off of standard market price, isn't it? I mean, how much does a regular 1 terabyte SSD go for?
But the thing is, Daniel, it only works for the Xbox. That's the thing.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
But could you not just plug in a USB one? Does that not work?
I don't know.
Did they lock that out?
I don't know. I haven't looked into it that much.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're gonna have a memory stick that only works for Xbox. I would probably say that they're only gonna sell that.
I mean, I think that it's only for Xbox because that's specifically designed the way that it's engineered.
Of course.
But like, it has USB ports. If I plug in a terabyte into one, or a hard drive into one of those, will it work?
Maybe.
Yeah, it will, I believe. I just don't know if you have access to the SSD storage. So your games aren't necessarily going to download as fast, or you're not going to pull up the menus as fast.
But I'll have raw storage space at least.
Yeah, you can do the same thing with the PS5. And I will say that's an advantage of the PS5. PS5, you have external hard drive SSD access that is not. You don't need a proprietary Sony thing, so
right. Yeah. So that was the last thing I wanted to talk shit about for Xbox Series X. But
so what we're looking at here is like an $800 Xbox for optimal like usability.
For a rechargeable controller, PS5 already has, and a terabyte external storage that only works for Xbox, which PS4 or PS5 you can already have if you had another one for your PS4 already. You could just wipe that and bring it onto the PS5 and it works. But anyways, with all that aside, let's get down to the games. You were saying that Valhalla, have you enjoyed it so far, Daniel?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, obviously the bugs that I've been encountering have hindered. I was just plowing through it until that happened, so that's been a little disappointing. But beyond that, I mean, yeah, the game's awesome in a weird way. As someone who played a lot of Origins and Odyssey and loved both of them, I almost feel that Valhalla is more similar in concept to Origins than to Odyssey, which I actually think is why a lot more people are enjoying Valhalla, and why I think it's probably a little bit of a better game in terms of an Assassin's Creed game than Odyssey.
As somebody who didn't play either of those, what kind of differences are you talking about?
So for example, I mean, one of the big complaints in Odyssey was like, there's no hidden blade. that's the iconic thing, right?
What?
There's no hidden blades. It was still a great game. There was another mechanic they introduced where you could still perform the same kind of like executions and assassination type stunts, but there was no hidden blade. There was also not very much kind of effort put into kind of that like social, like camouflagey, disguisey. It stepped a little bit away from kind of like the assassin traditional kind of stuff. And it made you more into kind of like a demigod, where you were like this badass and you just like, you know, mowed people down in a coliseum because you were, you know, basically unkillable.
So it was a lot more about like high action or high speed combat rather than like stealth and
it was just it was a little bit different. It kind of took one part of Origins further, and this feels like they pulled back on some of those other things. While those aspects are still in there, but yeah, they refined the combat system and the upgrade system so things feel a little bit more meaningful also, which I really appreciate. Like all of the gear, it seems like at least at this stage can be upgraded so that way it tracks. So if you have a certain like set of gear you like or a certain weapon you enjoy, you can keep finding things in the world to have it progress in power with you, as opposed to in Odyssey, every time you kill an enemy, a piece of gear drops with a number on it, and you can spend resources to bring that number up, or you can just kill the guy next to him, and since you're a little bit stronger than you were when you fought the first guy, that guy's number is going to be a little bit higher, so the piece of gear you're going to get is going to be a little bit better, so you just keep switching stuff out.
So I know we've discussed, Daniel, that you're not super into stealth type games.
I am not.
Is that why you like the newer Assassin's Creed games more than the original? That'd
100%.
That'd make a lot of sense to me, I guess.
And I mean, I think I was having this conversation with a buddy of mine just the other day where I think there's two kinds of people who play Assassin's Creed games. I'm going to generalize all over the place right now. And you're one of the people who really wants to roleplay as an assassin. You want to wear the cloak, you want to sneak through the shadows, and you want to stab people in the neck, and then you want to get away.
That would be me.
That's totally fine. That's a great game. I enjoy doing those missions sometimes. I just don't like it to be the focus because I'm bad at stealth and I have a low amount of patience. And if somebody catches me, I just want to kill everybody instead of having to restart the mission. The other people who play Assassin's Creed games are people like me, who I'm just a lover of historical fiction. I just like them saying, okay, now you're gonna be a pirate. Now you're gonna be in colonial America. Now you're gonna go and be a Viking. That to me is so cool. Getting to be a Magi in Egypt, getting to climb the pyramids, that is what I get in for.
Honestly, this is me too. I'm in both camps. I like the unique settings and cool historical events, but I also like the stealth gameplay. I'm
Same.
Firmly in both.
Yeah,
areas.
that's where I am too. Like I'm not necessarily on the role playing side of it. I just like being stealthy and taking out people because it's satisfying to be able to just take out an entire encampment of people without nobody seeing you.
And I think, one thing that we all tend to experience as well, and I'm totally generalizing because I definitely experience it being that, super stealthy guy, is starting the game off as that assassin and being super stealthy, and then by the end of it you have all of the abilities to just fuck their day and you just run in there and
start mowing people down.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have time for the whole camp. I'm just gonna
exactly.
Yeah. No, I've
exactly.
been there.
So
we've all been
anyways, cool. I'm glad you're liking it.
So the bugs were bad. But how are the snacks?
Oh God! So bug snacks.
Tell me about this monstrosity.
This might be a little controversial. I'm almost enjoying bug snacks more than Miles Morales, which is not to say that Miles Morales is a bad game. Miles Morales is an excellent game. It is an excellent game. I love Spider-Man. I love Miles Morales. There's something about bug snacks that I can't get over. It's the game I keep wanting to go back into, and I keep going back into it. It's very humorous. It tickles my funny bone. Also, it's just got this kind of like absurd sense of humor to it that I just really love.
That's really good to hear. When I looked at the trailer, I saw it and I was like, this is either going to be what you're describing, like really funny and absurd and interesting, or just fall on its face and be terrible. So like, I'm glad to hear it falls on the good side.
There's so many different things that I love about it, but I think one of my favorite things, and it's so simple, and it just makes me giggle even thinking about it, is that all the bug snacks, or everyone I've encountered so far, it chants its name like a Pokemon. But all they are is it's like an insect crossed with like, you know, like a snack food, or I guess kind of any kind of food. So you just have every once in a while, you know, you'll just hear something like screech out like bunger or shishka bug or like any kind of just ridiculous
Shishka bug?
like
I
these
love shishka
ridiculous like bug food puns that
good.
are very, very humorous. It's very lighthearted. It's great. Love it.
That's
great
that's
game.
great.
Cannot,
That
and
is
honestly,
so
and the
great.
fact that you get it free if you have PlayStation Plus makes it even better.
I didn't know it was free. Okay.
It's free. I did not pay for this. Well, I paid for PlayStation Plus, but
You've sold me. I'm gonna grab that. I will get to it.
is it available also on PS4? Because if it is, you
I
should
don't know.
play.
I'm just gonna like, I'll like claim it for my account. Whenever I get a PS5, I'll jump in. So
I know one of the big things that happened for Ryan is actually related to D&D. So I think there was a Stargate type of D&D adaptation that
There was a Kickstarter by Wyvern Games. They started a Kickstarter. They got the licenses from the companies that currently hold the rights to Stargate, and they created a conversion of the 5th edition rules to doing a Stargate, setting.
Yeah.
And
That sounds really cool.
I'm not sure if any of you guys have actually ever watched Stargate or not, but
just the movie.
I've always been curious, but I haven't gotten to
I've
it.
seen a few, like one or two.
it's definitely a very lore rich environment. There's lots of things that they're doing. It deals with false gods where, aliens are impersonating, the gods that we know of, Norse mythology and Egyptian mythology. Like the Egyptian gods are actually, the villains throughout the series.
Wow, that sounds rad.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. It all spun off of, the movie Stargate that came out, I believe, in 1994.
Cool movie.
Of course, going from the movie to the TV show, they changed the cast. Depending on which one you watch first, you might like one cast more than the other, but obviously the TV series cast, there are 17 seasons worth of shows,
I'm sorry. 17 seasons?
There's 17 seasons collectively amongst the 3 series.
Dang.
There's the 10 seasons for the main
Right,
series, 5 for Atlantis. But yeah, no, basically this one, the Kickstarter, they did, the setting they created was based after season 6 of Stargate SG-1. And
So this is a completely new, like, spin-off kind of thing. Like, they're making their own stuff.
well, Stargate SG-1 went to season 10, so this takes place in like the middle of the show, but it's basically at a turning point against the Egyptian gods where, a lot more alien races start coming together, which is what provides a lot of different options for character creation.
The races. Yeah.
But they do go off on their own thing. The premise of this setting is that you are on an off-world planet, basically forming a new Stargate base of operations, basically, and where you go from there, who knows.
Has Wyvern Games made anything I would have heard of?
I believe they've done some other Kickstarters for card games and other, I think, board game things. I can't think of what they are specifically off the top of my head, but I do know that they have done other projects.
But this is like their first D&D tabletop RPG kind of thing?
I believe so. They've done actually Cthulhu. That was one of the things they worked on. I'm not sure what
Call of Cthulhu.
I don't know if it's Call of Cthulhu or I think it's just the game Cthulhu.
Gotcha.
They've done something else called Short Order Hero. I haven't heard of these before. I'm just looking at their Discord page right now, but no, they're
How's the Kickstarter doing?
It ended in October 30th.
Oh, it's already done.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
so it was through the month of October, and they like severely made past their goal. I think their goal was like,
that's always good to hear.
I want to say maybe something like 30,000 or something like that, and they did like 430,000.
Holy shit.
Whoa!
Yeah.
They shattered it.
So
Now they just have to make the thing.
yeah, well,
Right.
I've already read through the beta playtest. The final digital version of it should be coming out here, I think, in December. They have a whole bunch of different stretch goals they did. They added, the digital files for printing different miniatures, which is pretty cool. They've added
cool.
One of the add-ons they did was to make a living campaign where basically, kind of like Adventure League in standard D&D, little missions that play out a season of the show basically, and so they're releasing it as you go. And based on the input of the people playing, I think they have like something on their forums where you can go and basically do a mission log of how you handled the mission, and they write the next episode based on, I think, some average. So it continues the story, I think. I'm not entirely sure. But
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, but it's called a living campaign, and so I went ahead and bought that as well. But they also were doing a whole bunch of different stretch goals for all different things, a lot of unlockables, which is pretty cool. But you can still pledge for them if you want. If you go to the Kickstarter, you can do a late pledge or do a pre-order if you are interested.
Yeah, we'll add the link to their Kickstarter in the description so you guys can just click on it.
If you haven't watched Stargate, I definitely recommend it. I just started rewatching Stargate Atlantis, so
I'll probably get onto it. That sounds really cool. I'm interested in the series.
It's all on Amazon Prime right now.
Oh, even better. Cool.
13 seasons.
17 seasons.
17. Jeez.
And a movie.
Three movies.
Man. 3. Oh, good. 3 movies.
There's the original movie, and then they made 2 spin-off movies from SG1.
Yeah. So if you need something to binge, there you go.
I don't have that time.
We'll also just add a link to, I don't know,
just
maybe
go
1
look
or
it
2
up.
of them.
Amazon
just
Prime.
go find it. Yeah,
you
never
can
mind.
find
Just
it.
go find
You're
it.
clever.
There will be too many links.
No.
Cool.
No, not that Stargate.
Yeah, right. So with that aside, Zach, you wanted to talk about Hades a little bit?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to check in. There's not much to say. Just wanted to tell the people that I hit credits on Hades, the roguelike game from Supergiant. Finished it.
That's pretty dope.
That's a 10 out of 10 game. Everybody go play it. That's all.
Right on. Still going on it. A month later,
still popping,
right
still
on.
playing it, but I hit the official story ending. 10 out of 10.
Congrats.
Thank you. Congrats, Supergiant. You did it again.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much it for our games, news, and movies and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and go into our 1-minute one shot, which I will be the one leading this one.
Oh, I've been excited to hear what you cooked up for us.
Yeah, I got a little something for y'all. So visualize, if you will, that you are a party of adventurers. You've been hired to steal an important artifact in a king's castle. The first half of the heist went off without a hitch. You breached the outer walls, made your way through the underground tunnels, and found your way through the castle to the safe room without alerting any of the guards. Granted, you had to knock a few of them out. However, as your rogue begins to inspect the safe, a blaring magical alarm begins to sound all around you. Through the high-pitched whines, you can hear metallic armor clinking as you assume a large group of guards making their way to your current position. What do you do? We'll go ahead and who wants to start?
Can I ask some questions first?
Absolutely.
Can they see us yet?
If you were to be at the door in the safe room looking out, you would see that they are not currently visible, but you can definitely hear down the hallway that there is a lot of armor coming straight to you.
And how many of us are there?
There are 4 of you.
Okay.
Why did he?
A rogue has to be one of them.
This is twice in a row where we're dealing with a rogue's fuck up.
I know. I
It's
thought I would just follow it.
It's a good setup. I like it. Okay. Okay, I got it. All right, I got it. Okay. I'm going to... I guess it doesn't matter what class. I'm going to cast Disguise Self on myself.
Okay.
To appear as the king. And as soon as they come around the corner, I'm going to say, man, so sorry. Like, this security system's new. I'm not used to it. I hardly ever come down here. Oh, geez. False alarm, guys.
Okay.
Go about your business. All's good here.
All right. So before we go any further, what does everybody else want to do?
Hold
What
on,
do you
hold
all
on.
think?
I'm still thinking. I'm still thinking
Okay.
here because I do.
He's cooking something up.
I will specify that was a pretty good idea, Zach.
No, that was a really good idea. That was a really good idea.
Thank you. Yeah, I know. Probably the best idea, if I'm being honest. Probably, yeah.
Probably. I mean, the best I've heard in this situation for sure.
That's for damn sure best you've heard so far.
There's ideas I could go spinning off of that, but my initial thought was to cast darkness in the general vicinity.
Okay.
Hoping to give, if our goal is to get that artifact still and try to save the day at some point.
Right. And let me be clear, the safe is still closed.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So if our goal was to do that, I would try to cast darkness on the immediate area around the safe and try to let the rogue do its thing, if possible.
In the dark.
Without
Or at
being able
least
to see it all.
get like a foot away from the door. So it's just
Okay,
darkness.
yeah. So-
darkness as soon as they enter the hallway into the whatever.
Right,
But
room.
not quite covering the safe. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Just like 6 inches of no
And
darkness.
here's my other thought. Is darkness concentration? That's the big thing to me. I don't know if it is.
I don't think it is.
Perfect.
I don't think
Here's
so.
what I would do. As the wizard, I would cast darkness in the area, and I would immediately cast Wall of Force at the edge of the hallway.
Okay. So then they for some reason have a giant ball of darkness.
But I want
And
it to
they
be
cannot get out of or get into it. Is that what I'm understanding?
yes.
What level are we?
That's a good question.
Because here, I'm mostly wondering if I'm level 6.
Actually, okay. Darkness first is a concentration
okay.
spell, so you wouldn't be able to do that. Level 6, sure. Yeah, if you're being hired to do a heist in a king's castle, you would at least be level 6.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, then okay. Here's what's gonna happen then.
Okay. What's gonna happen?
I'm gonna be in a party. There's gonna be the rogue. I'm gonna be a wizard. My friend's gonna be a wizard. Maybe all 3 of the other people are wizards.
Man, if
Okay.
I wanted to steal from a king's castle, I definitely would hire a couple, at least 3 wizards. For sure.
Yeah, and then one rogue.
And 1 rogue.
Hey, but you forget that wizards, have a lot of, utility.
I do not forget. That's why I hired him.
Invisibility.
So
Yeah.
here's the thing. So
Okay.
here's what I'm thinking. I would cast darkness right away, and then as we hear them approach, well, number one, we'd have the second wizard cast Wall of Force about halfway in the darkness.
Yep.
The third
Okay.
wizard, as soon as we start hearing them approach, close them off behind them, but make it so we can still get out around them. So they're trapped in the darkness. They never see us.
Okay.
So like a wall of force prison.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right on.
That's
right on.
my plan.
I like it. Right on. Daniel, what is yours?
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Okay, hold on to your hats for this one. So we're a 4-person party, right? So I'm gonna say that I'm gonna assume this party probably looks something like a wizard, the rogue, obviously. We'll throw, cause I love him. We'll throw a warlock in there, and then
Cool.
we're gonna have, I guess, I don't know, sure, a cleric. That sounds great.
You gotta have like a fighter or something. Got a squishy team.
Hey, clerics, really fast. Can they, do they have disguise self?
Trickery domains do.
Okay, that's what we're gonna assume that the cleric has disguise self here. Okay, so what the wizard's gonna do is the wizard is gonna touch the rogue, cast invisibility. Okay, at 3rd level. So now, rogue and the wizard, we're good.
You said 3rd level so I think they can get 2 people at 3rd level.
I think it's themselves and then one other person. I think if I understood the spell right.
Cool. So then, yep. Okay. Got it. Yep.
Then the warlock and the cleric are going to cast disguise self, and they are going to disguise themselves because you're able to affect your visual appearance. They're just gonna have like cutthroats or something, and they're just gonna lie down. They're just gonna flop down on the ground.
Okay.
And the rogue is gonna kind of walk over down, kind of like down the hall a little bit. And so the guards, they're gonna come around the corner, and the rogue's gonna say from over in the corner, "They went this way." And then let's see what happens.
Okay. All right. Well,
Not bad.
I think all of those are great ideas.
I will specify, if we are level 6, my plan does not work since Wall of Force is a much higher level
Wall of Force
spell.
You can be way higher.
yeah.
You didn't specify.
It is what it is. Yeah, I left that open. Okay. So we'll go with Zach. You were the first one.
The best one.
So you disguise yourself as the king.
Yep.
Guards come barreling down the hallway. Seeing the king, you'd have to roll a persuasion, but we're just gonna roll with it. They're gonna look at you and be like, "Oh,
I'm assuming I'm a warlock with super high charisma. I fly past it. I'm gonna charm their armor off.
yeah." And they look at you. They're like, "That's the king if I ever seen him." And they're just gonna turn around and walk away.
Hell yeah.
Cool. Problem solved.
Great.
Ryan, yours. By far the most complex, but by far one of the coolest ways to do it for sure. Because, I mean, they don't know who's in there. They can't get in there. And by the time that they know what's going on, you guys are already out. So yeah, no, that definitely works. And especially since you're leaving a little bit of room for the rogue to finally get into the safe. And then Daniel. The one thing that I have with that, having the two people that have the cutthroats, it's visual, so the guards are probably going to be inspecting that body, and they're going to
no, they're not, because the rogue is going to say they went this way, so they're going to have to they're going to have to run after him. It's just a visual thing.
And then when they come back around, they're going to see those two bodies are gone.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, but it's too late then.
It's too late.
The subterfuge has worked.
All right. Well, I gotta say, all three of those were viable options, and I think they all pretty much worked out, I would say.
All right. Look at us.
But whose was the best, though?
Well, the best? Let's see. I mean, like I said, so Zach, yours comes down to a persuasion check.
It's true.
Roll it right now.
You are a warlock. You got the high charisma, high persuasion.
Roll it right now.
Go ahead. Let's roll a d20 and we'll just make it up. Daniel.
Yes.
You gotta roll a deception check.
Okay, that's fine.
Because you're gonna be that rogue that's yelling out, "Hey, it's this way."
That's fine.
And then Ryan, yours, you're gonna have to roll for a thieves' tools check for the rogue. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Which they failed one already.
Okay. Unfortunately, I rolled a 5.
All right. So they look over, not seeing anybody down the hall. Some are gonna go that way, and then a few are gonna come back over here and inspect the bodies, and they're gonna figure you out. So unfortunately, that didn't pass.
Well, whoops.
What's my charisma bonus?
I don't know, what'd you roll?
I rolled a 3.
Yeah, that's definitely not gonna do shit. No,
Hey, I'm the king.
They turn the corner, and then you see in the background the king's running with them. He's like, "That guy's a fake. He's a phony."
The rogue rolled a 6 plus whatever modifier.
Oh my god! You guys rolled.
It looks like we all lose. No winners today.
This is the worst party ever. Good ideas, poor execution is what that is.
Out of the 3, Daniel and Zach, both of yours went just complete shit. Ryan, you got out.
Here's the thing, though. The rogue would have expertise plus its proficiency.
The rogue already failed that check once.
And
that's why we're in this situation.
If you're at a really higher level, rogues have, what's it called? The thing where they automatically get a 10. So you're probably rolling like 25. So yeah, I guess.
I don't know what the level I'd have to be to get a 5th level spell slot as a wizard, but that's probably what level we are.
10.
Actually, I can tell you right now, we have to be, for a 5th level spell slot, we'd be 9th level. So
I will say, as a 5th level spell slot, I could also cast invisibility on the whole party, but this doesn't matter.
So anyways, that was a interesting turn of events.
I liked it though. That was a good scenario.
That was good. I like that one. Yeah.
I thought it was pretty interesting, so I think it played out really well.
I think definitely going forward, we should definitely use the dice for sure. I think that's a good call. I think just putting it on to one roll, depending on
whether it works or not. Sure.
Obviously, if you're gonna act as the king to try and say to the guards, hey, no, everything's fine.
Hey man, I almost had it. It's totally fine. Don't worry about my 3 party members standing next to me. You don't know who they are, but it's totally fine. They're my friends.
Right. Cool. Well, that concludes our 1 minute one shot and brings us into our D&D discussion topics. Since last time it was me and Zach that were the only two able to get through ours, let's go ahead and go with Daniel and Ryan. Daniel, what is your topic of the day?
So today I wanted to chat with you guys about how you pick your classes and maybe even how you picked kind of the class for the first character that you played. Because I know that if you guys are anything like me, I think I made like 2 other characters that I actually played before I landed on the character I ended up sticking with for like 2 years.
Well, start us off. How did you pick your class? Walk us through it.
I mean, for me, I started out by kind of not really knowing what to do and knowing that the party I was going to join needed a healer. So I knew I liked to cast spells.
And that was our campaign, right?
No.
No? Okay.
No,
okay.
This was, well, I mentioned this in the last
episode. This was the one with the pretty
This
girl.
was in high school.
The cleric one.
This was in high school, and so I was made a cleric for them and for that campaign. I don't really remember anything about the character. I just, and it was for 3.5. So what I had at like as a pretty low level cleric was like nothing fun, just like healing spells. So, it was whatever. But what I took away from that was, because as I started to kind of get more and more involved in the character building aspect, was that I really liked having like a divine background. Because even though I'm not very religious in regular life, I like the idea of like, to pray to a deity and like having a god that just like, helps you out sometimes and allows you to smite people. I think that's pretty cool. So I decided I wasn't going to go for a cleric. And the next time I made a character was in 4, and I made an invoker, which I think is a class that only exists in 4.
I've never heard of it. I've never played 4E, but yeah, interesting.
Invoker is essentially, if I remember correctly, I could be totally wrong, is basically like a divine warlock, where you've pledged yourself to a deity, you get a lot of like cantrips that are super powerful, and you just rain holy might down on your enemies.
That sounds rad.
Yeah.
Kind of into that.
With like totally ridiculous spells. It was cool. And like the different paths, I think I was an invoker of vengeance or something, and you just have all of these cool spells. I think I remember it feeling a little overpowered. Of course, I only played like 1 session with that character, and you could like drop a ridiculous amount of damage, and I just liked that idea.
Rogues.
And then eventually that led me to when I joined your guys' campaign, when I started playing D&D with you guys, where I knew that I really liked the divine spellcaster thing, and I liked being able to deal a lot of damage, but obviously Invoker, not a class in 5, so it wasn't an option. And I ended up going with a paladin because it fulfilled all those things for me. I got to have a character that was devoted to his god, Torm.
Praise Torm.
Yeah, praise Torm, best god in D&D, hands down, everyone knows it. Truth and justice all the way. And I also got to have a little bit of healing, keep myself, up in battle, keep my friends up sometimes, mostly for myself. And I just got to be super tanky, take a lot of damage, and then smite the heck out of people. And that was a lot of fun for me, because that was pretty much all I wanted out of D&D. At this point, I've evolved a little bit beyond that. I want to do something a little bit more creative, and also, as we've kind of leaned more into the role-playing side of things, my last couple characters that I've made are more like warlocks or sorcerers, just for like the flavor. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of how my path through was. I kind of had one thing that I sort of liked, and I just kept building on it until I eventually got where I wanted to be.
Yeah. I remember my first campaign that I actually played through was, back when I already talked about like my very first character being a paladin. That wasn't me picking, that was the DM. Like, I came in and he was like, all right, you want to play? Cool. Roll D6. Okay, cool, you're a paladin. And I'm like, dope, let's do this. But my very first like campaign, I played Curse of Strahd 2-3 years ago. And I ended up going with a rogue. I wanted to go wizard, but I went up with Rogue. It was between either one of those, and I wanted to see, the party
composition.
Who was what? Yeah, composition. That's the word. I wanted to see what they were. One was a sorcerer, another one was a druid, and then another one was a paladin. So since one was already a sorcerer, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna do a wizard. So what do we? Next one is rogue. So that's when I ended up making Temo Swiftfingers. I wanted to go arcane trickster, and then I figured out that you can't have every single spell. So I was trying to mix between.
You're trying to be a wizard anyway.
I was trying to be the wizard anyways, yeah. But you can't be the wizard as the rogue. You have to have the illusion or the
what a shame.
enchantment spells. So I was like, damn. All right. So then I ended up going with I ended up going with the Swashbuckler, because at that point, Xanathar's Guide of Everything had been released right when we turned level 3, so I switched over to that.
If you'd go back, would you be a wizard in that campaign, even with a sorcerer, or would you still go rogue?
Honestly, with that campaign, Curse of Strahd, I would have been cleric. I would have gone grave cleric, because spoilers, my character died in that campaign as that rogue, and then I ended up becoming a cleric in that. Not really spoilers, by the way. I ended up becoming a cleric in like this one-off thing, and I remember there was this point where we were surrounded by 12 to 16 different skeletons.
Oh crap!
I did turn undead, which is destroy undead once you're at a certain level. I literally killed like 98% of them. There was like 2 left, and the DM was like, all right, and he just like threw the book, and he was like, this is done. Like, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, that ability is so powerful, because if they're a creature under a certain level, it just immediately destroys them regardless.
Which was all skeletons, and they're all CR like 1/2 or something like that. So, but anyways, back to the picking part. I picked the rogue because Arcane Trickster, as well as the fact that it was part of the composition. Yeah. I think that was...
You tried to backdoor become a wizard anyway, and it didn't really work out for you. But,
exactly.
But did you enjoy being a rogue as it was, or...?
I did. I liked the Swashbuckler because you can jump in, attack twice, and then jump out without having to do a disengage action. But I do think I would have had a lot more fun if I was a wizard. Because of I still haven't like had that full campaign able to play a wizard, and I really want to get to that high level part where you could just start casting fireball and blowing everything up. And anyways, being a forever DM, that's how it is sometimes. But with all that aside, I think that party composition is one of the biggest things, because I think I can play whatever class I really want, and that is a big deal for me, is the party composition. So, but other than that, yeah, that's how I picked my first class.
Yeah, that's how I am too, really, is like I kind of just fill whatever gap is needed. Or I'll kind of pick it. I think in our first, like way back when we were still learning everything, like we didn't have a lot of casters, and that's when I picked Warlock for the first time. I was like, that sounds like an edgier wizard, and I'm into that. I want to be a little dark and mysterious.
It definitely is.
And it really just resulted in me just doing what all warlocks do and Eldritch blasting the living shit out of anything that moves. But
hey guys, look at this new spell I came out with.
Pew. I remarked last time that when I was like 12 or whatever, the first time I played D&D, I wanted to hit monster hard with stick. So that's where fighter came in. But I think
since then you've evolved.
I've grown.
Now you like to spellcast monster with Eldritch Blast.
It's true. Now I like to blast monster hard. But in the middle there, I played a monk, and I remember the day I picked monk because I looked at the book and I said, well, I've never played a monk before. Let's try that.
Cool.
And you were still learning up until our last session.
It's true. Still forgot like half the things I could do, but I played it well, damn it. And like I had a lot of fun with monk. Like I said, screw it, we'll jump in, and then like after I made the character, I read all the some of the future abilities. I looked ahead and really enjoyed what I saw. And I was like, can't wait to do some of this stuff.
Yeah, for me, every time I would play a video game, I would always try to be an archer. I played a lot of Diablo 2, just growing up and just playing it all the time. And I would always be the ranged class because if I'm far away, they can't hit me.
For the safety.
And I just keep running around, and I just keep shooting off shots.
That explains so much.
Yeah, that explains a lot.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I've always liked that, and I think also I've always liked archery in general, which probably is maybe because of Lord of the Rings and, stuff like that.
I love the fact that, so in our current campaign, Ryan is a paladin that ran into a fight and just got yeeted. So I love the fact that you love rangers because you could be out of the danger.
In our last campaign, he would play this archer that could shoot from 300 feet away.
No, I could shoot from 600 feet away.
It was 6. So yeah, you would I don't think you got hit the entire last half of our campaign.
No, never.
I don't know when you ever took damage because you were way out there.
He didn't. I was so mad about it.
But here's the thing. So like I said, that's what
literally sniping dragons out of the air.
That's why I went ranger for the very first character, which was Gilroy, who died really fast.
R.I.P.
And then
didn't die, disappeared.
Deck of many things.
Well, sorry, yeah, he didn't die, but he got yeeted to a different plane of existence.
Yeah, he's still out there.
On the first day.
Yeah,
that's where our campaign currently is going. You guys are gonna save Gilroy.
No, regardless, though, that's what drew me to that idea because I've always liked archery, and I thought ranger would be a really good way to do that. Going back, I probably wouldn't do it that way again. I'd probably look at different options for doing ranged stuff. Regardless, that was what drew me to that. And then I went from that to a fighter because I wanted to make a Captain America-esque character.
Still ranged.
Yeah, it was more ranged than I liked, and it didn't work quite the way I was hoping it would.
Yeah, we got a homebrew class that we found, and then we ended up just throwing it away and just giving you a magical shield.
I think we went back to just using Battle Master, and I think that's basically what we did.
Yeah.
Anyways, and then I went from that to doing a paladin for literally one session, and then that died. And then
Ryan has a really bad track record with characters.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about Felix. Yeah, that was his other time that he made a fighter class that goes in and gets damage, and he died too.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair,
got brutally murdered. Cut it
to be fair, I did go off chasing after a bad guy by myself. That was running away because they were almost dead, and just had I popped a divine smite at the next level, I would have done it, but nope. I ended up just being shy of 1 health point, and yeah. But where I am now is wizards are definitely my favorite because there's so much utility and different things you can do. I think me and Jonny are both on that same page about just wizards in general. I would probably prefer to make a wizard character rather than a fighter or a ranger. A fighter would definitely be, I think, my second favorite choice, but just because of the utility, I think wizards would be my favorite class and going forward.
I think I played a monk for so long, and I was the only thing I could do was get in and slap, just punch. And so I wanted on this campaign, part of the reason I went warlock again is because I wanted, instead of going in, I wanted to stay out and focus more on utility and affecting the battlefield rather than, and really, I mean, I do some of that, but mostly I just blast and it's fine, whatever. I'm in the back and that's fine, but I have my moments. And so I kind of flip-flop between what I want to do. Depends. I could go either going all the way in or staying back. I like both.
Especially being the Hexblade warlock, you are versatile.
That's true. Yeah, I don't make a lot of use of that sword yet.
That's a very interesting thing about our current campaign right now is everybody is a caster except for Sebastian, who is my paladin, who is in the front, who just got killed but then resurrected. Everybody else in the entire game, because our rogue is an arcane trickster, sorcerer, warlock, wizard.
This one I looked at the comp and I was like, damn, there's a lot of spellcasters. Guess there's one more. I didn't care.
I think it gives us a very interesting opportunity for handling all those situations. Because kind of similar to like what I was doing for my 1 minute one shot. There's things like that we can do because we are all casters. Like
combos. Yeah.
Yeah. You can have multiple concentration spells from a wizard going on because you have, well, not multiple wizards, but you have a wizard and a sorcerer, which have bleed over, but yeah. So anyways, with that put away, Ryan, what's your topic?
Yeah, my topic is, we talked about our first experiences playing D&D last time. We just talked about our favorite classes and our first classes as well a little bit just now. But what I want to talk about is, what are some of your favorite moments and most memorable that you've had through playing all of D&D? I know for me, while playing through, one of my most memorable moments, we talked about it last time a little bit, but we had the endless hallway. That was very memorable to me, and just how I had to think outside the box and how to solve that puzzle or riddle where we all got stuck in this magical hallway that just went on forever, and there just was no way out until we figured out the solve for the puzzle. That would be one of them. Another one for me was towards the end of our last campaign, where we were chasing down. We were coming into a town that was overrun with cultists. And we were all fighting all the different cultists, and you guys all split off to go take care of some of the bad guys that are inside the town. Meanwhile, there's a whole bunch of them escaping on a cart. So I was just chasing them on a horse as they were all rolling off, and I shot an arrow with a grappling hook onto it and then tied it down to the ground with another arrow, and I tipped the entire cart that they were all traveling on, and I killed all of them one by one by just chasing them down and very cinematically flipping that cart.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, was the fucking 600-foot ranger that, even though they were making speed away from them, and he was just...
They were nowhere near out of range.
400 feet away from them, and he was just popping them off with headshots.
Yeah, the start of that encounter definitely, I didn't think it through, because I started that entire situation off where we're rushing into town, and that's what caused them to have time to get away. It's because as soon as we were 600 feet away, I just popped one guy in the head with an arrow, and that, of course, alerted everybody else. And
I just imagine your character, Bendis, he just pulls out an arrow, is just super excited, looses it, and then finally, after he looses it, looks around at his party that's just like, what the fuck,
yeah,
dude?
We're all standing 600 feet
well,
away.
I can hit him.
So,
yeah. So that's where we had to start initiative. I had to change the map because I didn't have 600 feet worth of map on there.
You had to do that a lot. All the time you were doing that.
It was so great.
Yeah, my last thing that that was really memorable to me was when I was DMing our Star Wars themed campaign, and the very, very ending of that. I mean, there's very many memorable things throughout that.
There were a lot of really memorable moments.
Yeah,
I'm sure maybe you guys will talk about it. I don't know.
One of my favorite characters.
But one of my favorite memorable moments was the very ending when you guys had this weapon of mass destruction that was capable of creating a black hole. You guys didn't know it until the very end.
Why you gave us those?
I don't know
because
either.
It's
but
D&D.
You guys were all
Star
in
Wars.
your starship, staring down at a whole bunch of different large star destroyers that are all coming out of hyperspace. I think there's like 3 or 4 of them that are all just looking straight down at you. It technically should have been a really big lose situation for you guys. But what you guys did was, Zach was a droid, and you guys had just found a new droid, and you guys decided to make a copy of his data banks or whatever in his head, and you installed it.
We were doing this constantly. We would constantly copy my memory and send me off to die because I could just load into whatever other bot we had. I did not have any life preservation instincts.
So yeah, the very first session, you guys are trying to escape this exploding ship and get to the escape pods, and there's the big bad evil guy is in the hallway. I did his introduction as you guys all saw him brutally murder a couple people, and the first thing Zach was wanting to do is just walking out of the hidden area that you guys are in, just walking straight into the fight.
I was gonna go talk to him.
Yeah, that's hilarious. But no, the ending, you guys installed his memory into this droid, giving him the huge megaton black hole creating bomb, and you just send him ejecting straight at the Star Destroyers.
You're goddamn right.
Hell yeah, we did. You know what? It worked.
Basically, the last thing that those Star Destroyers saw was a little droid waving at them holding a bomb, and then it just exploding into a black hole as you guys blasted off into hyperspace. Like
oh
that.
man, I forgot about that. Good times.
Yeah. It was basically the ending of Halo 2. Spoilers alert.
Yeah.
Yeah, spoilers.
I have one and it's for some reason it's the one that always jumps into my head whenever somebody asks me this question, and I think it's funny because I think it actually came from a one shot that Zach DM'd.
I remember that.
So I had this character whose name was Girk Clergurgan, and he was a paladin of the crown. And the thing that I loved best about him being a paladin of the crown was a lot of his abilities were centered around the idea that I can draw the aggression from anybody that I want. I have one ability where I can just do it one-on-one, but I have one ability where everybody that fails a check within 30 feet of me cannot leave that 30-foot radius of me at all until it ends.
I remember this.
And because I'm so strong, like they could attack me all they want depending on who it is, and they can't do anything. So we were in this little town. We were trying to solve this this mystery that we were in the midst of.
The murder mystery, yeah.
My character was very upset because he had just been horrifically betrayed by the rest of his party members.
That's a little dramatic, but okay.
Because Girk Clergurgan only had one directive, and he didn't like necromancers. And I was not allowed to destroy a necromancer that we had just encountered, so we had just found...
Who wasn't evil.
She was just minding her own business, okay? She was out of the game, all right?
Okay, look. All necromancers are evil. We don't need to get into this right now. We don't need to get into this right now. She was in her weird necromantic basement, okay? Anyway. We had just found this black market, and Girk was upset, and he didn't have time to fuck around with these losers in the black market that probably weren't going to tell him what they wanted to know. So he hops down this hole, and he just says, okay, come at me, guys. And I got, not everybody, but I probably had like 25, almost 30 of these.
Like thuggish type, you know,
like
ruffian
thuggish,
dudes.
yeah, black market dudes.
Nowhere near your level, but they were, you know.
Yeah, and so I just got basically like the whole black market on me. And they were so intimidated. Girk Clergurgan, by the way, is like a 7-foot tall half orc who wields a big ol' hammer.
Very intimidating presence for sure.
See, this was like an underground black market tavern, correct? This is what it...
Yeah. So there was this shady tavern in town that no one would ever go to because it was awful, but like the barkeep had a tunnel underneath his counter that would lead to this like underground area where there was, I don't know if you guys ever found it, but there was another tunnel leading to outside the walls. So what would happen is bandits would come through that tunnel into the city, do their black market stuff there, and then they could come out into the town.
Yeah, but so I got this whole black market on me. They were too intimidated to even take one foot toward me. And yeah, that was just one of the coolest moments I've had.
If I remember right, you were basically just like, give me all your good shit and then get out of here. You just robbed the whole place.
Yeah. I pretty much just said, yeah, like I'm taking all the contraband and now leave and don't.
Is
come
that where
back.
you got your mug of refilling?
That is where he got it.
Yeah,
I remember. I
got an epic flask that was never it never was empty of whatever I would put in there.
I know my favorite memory is one, of course, that cleric time.
Yeah, the skeletons.
Oh my god, that was the best feeling ever. It was just like, I just fucking yeeted all of these people. Anyways, so that aside, it was also Curse of Strahd, one of the things that I remember. And it wasn't a moment, but it was a series of moments that really made it so good for me. And it was actually in that same time frame as that encounter that I just killed all of them. But this may be spoilers. I'm going to keep it a little low on Curse of Strahd. But there is a point where you enter Ravenloft, which is where Strahd lives, of course. And there is a point where you retrieve a specific artifact from his from the castle. And that was my main goal, was to find that specific artifact and bring it back to my homeland, we'll say. And I remember going there. I remember that there was this encounter that we had with Strahd, and then he had left, and there were organs in front of me, and there was a big old bitch slap that he threw at us. And I was like, all right, fuck this guy. And I started bashing his organs, and like the organs as in like the piano type of organs, those, yeah. So I started breaking that. And then there was a magical, it was a secret door. So as I was bashing it, it opened up, and then it led us directly to that artifact.
That's awesome.
And we just ran out. We were like, all right, we're good. We got everything we needed. We're done. And so it was just straight shot, got it, boom, and we were out. It was great. It was just a great feeling for sure.
Yeah. I have several happy memories. That one shot, Danny, you brought up, I kind of forgot about it, but like I loved running that for you guys. I wrote that thing for like months trying to put that thing together, and it worked. Like, it went better than I expected, actually. I really loved doing that for you guys. It was like a whole murder mystery, small town thing. It was great.
Yeah, it was fun.
I remember in high school once, I was playing with a buddy, and like the character I was playing at the time had this thing where she would carve out hearts of all the dead bodies. She just collected hearts. I don't remember why I made that a thing, but like, so by the time we're in this dungeon,
Edgy.
yeah, she was real edgy. And I was carrying around like 40 hearts in this bag, and our DM was kind of a dick, and he would try to kill us all the time. So we walk into this room, and there's this like giant 40-foot tall like demon chilling here. And immediately we're just like, oh, we're gonna die. But my character stepped forward and is like, would you take these hearts and let us go? And the DM like stops, and he's like, yeah, okay. And I just like threw him on the floor. We got the hell out of there.
Heck yeah.
More recently, so in our last campaign, we just did Rise of Tiamat, and there were so many dragon fights, and like one of the highlights of that campaign is just like every time the battle was coming to an end, like, there'd be that final hit of like, and that's enough. And like we were struggling so hard against these things, and like every time we finally got that last hit, we'd always have to do something extra, and like the feeling of excitement and relief once we dropped these giant like beasts felt so good. I really think fondly of that. But I think one of my favorite moments that I can remember, like really up there, is led to like me having a new life motto. We're down in this cave, and I think we're in a mine actually, and we come up to this locked door with a gargoyle statue next to it. And we're just we're throwing passwords at this thing, and it's just not giving us anything, taunting us, but like, nah, you guys will never get in here. And finally, I look at the gargoyle and I say, will you open the door, please? And he does. He's like, yeah, okay. Door opens.
Yeah, he's just super chill. He's like, oh yeah, bro, here. And then it just opens.
Yeah, you just gotta, and so from then on, anytime we come up to a problem, you just gotta remember that sometimes you just gotta ask.
Dude, and that has come up so many times.
It has been a life motto for me ever since.
Oh my god. It's so funny.
I love that.
I think that's the title of our episode.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to ask.
The title of my life.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for listening to our podcast, Talking XP. If you like what you heard, we release new episodes every third Tuesday of each month. Remember to catch us for our special episode about Tasha's Cauldron of Everything on Friday, November 20th. If you have any ideas for topics or any other comments or questions, you can always find us at any of the social media pages that we are going to link in the description. So yeah, make sure to level up, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
See y'all.